Hendrick Motorsports had a great week last week in Las Vegas. After Chase Elliott got hurt, William Byron, Kyle Larson, and Alex Bowman all finished in the top 3. But the club suffered another setback on Friday at Phoenix Raceway when the league officials discovered a potential problem in the cars. So, is Hendrick Motorsports about to get the worst punishment NASCAR has ever given? What do NASCAR experts have to say about the latest saga? Want to know then? Stay with us till the end of the NASCAR Zone to get updated. But before we dive into that, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. NASCAR appears to have a lot of decisions to make over the next few weeks, from potential penalties to the length of the restart zone to windscreen wipers. The first will be a decision on whether to penalize the Hendrick Motorsports teams after NASCAR confiscated their louvers following Friday's practice. Louvers are covers for radiator ducts that direct the airflow over the hood. There have been concerns with the louvers, components that are handed to teams and are expected to be utilized as is, fitting and meeting all standards with the new hoods this year. NASCAR has told teams that they cannot modify the louvers and that new, hopefully improved ones will be delivered soon. The question is whether any unlawful alterations were done by the Hendrick teams. Jeff Gordon, vice chairman of Hendrick Motorsports, stated, "Every situation is somewhat unique, but this one is more so than I've seen in a while."
We will continue to just share all the facts and be transparent with NASCAR as we have so far.
Because there's been a lot of back and forth communication on this particular part, especially for this racetrack, because they ran a parity test in the wind tunnel. I believe it paved the way for some misinterpretation. I'm not going any further than that. We will continue to disclose all of the data and be completely upfront with NASCAR, as we have done so far. NASCAR officials will not comment on the matter since the components will be sent to the research lab for further examination. Any fines would be assessed on Tuesday or Wednesday. Last year, NASCAR fined 3 teams 100 points and $100,000, as well as suspending 3 crew chiefs for 4 races for changing items that were supposed to be utilized as is from the supplier. Playoff points could potentially be included in the potential penalty. Kyle Larson, a driver for Hendrick Motorsports, stated, "I know nothing about race cars, so I had to inquire what a louver was. I'm only half joking. You're probably concerned about potential consequences. I'm not sure what was wrong with them. That is not my responsibility. We'll see how the coming week goes." If Hendrick is penalized, the team is expected to file an appeal, which would postpone any penalties until the appeal is heard. The enforcement and implementation of regulations are the results of frequent communication between NASCAR, the teams, and, it appears, the drivers during the last year. NASCAR highlighted driver communications as a factor for various rule modifications made at the start of the season. One of these was a 50% expansion of the restart zone at all tracks. The zone was extended by 25% from both the starting and ending points. The leader is required to mash the gas in the restart zone, and the remainder of the field is not permitted to mash the gas before the leader, or they will be fined. If the leader gets to the end of the zone without speeding up, the flagman will wave the green flag and let everyone go.
Down out there as he could to get the run. Looks like
Liam
working
barely
for him.
holding on. Yeah, they're on the outside.
Drivers tried to leave space between themselves and the car in front of them in the hopes of obtaining a strong run and momentum to make a pass, which led to a pileup at Fontana last month, which some attribute to the larger restart zone. NASCAR is anticipated to make a decision on whether to continue using the extended zone following the Cup race next week in Atlanta. There are conflicting feelings regarding it. What do you believe the NASCAR organization will decide to do in order to keep the use of the extended zone? Let us know in the comments section below. And also, do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more updates. Regarding this, Kyle Busch stated, "All it's done is cause that accident in California. So in my opinion, it hasn't done anything different or beneficial. It only added a negative ending because, in California, Joey Logano was just maintaining his speed, while everyone else was gaining and closing up their gaps because they were all trying to lay back and time the run. so he just waited for everyone to run into everyone else and then went to the end of the zone. Tyler Reddick, who was involved in the Fontana collision, said he didn't believe the increased zone had anything to do with it. He stated, "The length of the restart zone had nothing to do with that accident. That was basically a game of wits going on, regardless of whether the restart zone was another 100 feet longer or 200 feet shorter. The same event would have happened in whatever restart zone. These games may cause NASCAR to penalize drivers who slow down." Chris Buescher stated, "As you reach the start-finish line, those laying back have a very easy opportunity to put you 3 or 4 wide in the middle, and you pay the price for not playing their game. It's a slope, and it's a slick one at that. When 1 or 2 cars start doing it, and everyone notices, it becomes imperative for everyone else to do it in order to protect." Larson, who led many restarts on Sunday in Phoenix, enjoys the bigger zone. He remarked, "It's a nice thing for sure, especially on a track like this where you can get greater launches. The longer the zone, the more advantage it provides the leader. You're more unpredictable." It will be fascinating to see how NASCAR responds to driver feedback on the restart zone. In recent weeks, the organization has listened to driver feedback and implemented a few last-minute changes. NASCAR instructed teams to remove the windscreen wipers from their cars on Sunday morning in Phoenix. NASCAR required them because Phoenix is a track where they may compete in wet circumstances. With a sunny day and driver feedback that it looks stupid to have them, NASCAR ordered teams to remove them on Sunday. It remains to be seen whether NASCAR requires windscreen wipers for the upcoming races at Circuit of the Americas, Richmond, and Martinsville. NASCAR has also relocated the pit road commitment line to Turn 3 in Atlanta. Drivers were worried that diving to the pit road from Turn 4 while racing under green would be unsafe. Last year, there were no green flag pit stops. Pit road courses were the only events that did not have the choice rule, which allows drivers to choose their lane for the restart, until NASCAR announced Thursday that all road courses will now have the regulation. Because the chosen region will not be visible to race control, NASCAR will need to deploy a camera. NASCAR will undoubtedly speak with drivers about the new aerodynamic package utilized in Phoenix, which is set to be used at numerous short tracks and all road courses this year. At Phoenix, drivers did lose grip and had to pit based on tire wear, but the race wasn't as dangerous as some may have hoped. William Byron, the winner of the race, remarked, "There's still some work to be done given how congested the traffic is. They were absolutely difficult to drive. That, I believe, is a fair test for determining who is the finest out there." And Ryan Blaney stated that it is difficult to anticipate how the package would perform at future races, and that one race is too short a sample size to make a judgment. Blaney stated, "It's hard to say. I'm hoping for the best. I truly believe it. I believe it will be better at Martinsville, which has a slower pace. Richmond, I believe it could be a little better. But it remains a question till we get to know about what penalties will Hendrick Motorsports faces." Now let's move on to the recent news in NASCAR. The first update is about Kimi Räikkönen, the 2007 Formula One champion, who will return to Trackhouse Racing's Project 91 car, which he raced at Watkins Glen last year, for the race at Circuit of the Americas in 2 weeks. Jenson Button, the 2009 F1 champion, will drive the Rick Ware Racing number 15, which will be prepared by Stuart Haas. Next is Chase Elliott's recovery from a broken left tibia will take about 6 weeks. Josh Berry will continue to replace him for all oval races, while Jordan Taylor will drive the number 9 car at COTA. Third is Colleague Racing will run a third car for Dirt late model star Jonathan Davenport in the Bristol Dirt Race. Moving on, next, NASCAR held a muffler test on the road course at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Wednesday. The test was conducted by William Byron, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Preece, and comprised 2 muffler configurations, as well as many tire variations. Lastly, Hendrick Motorsports announced a vehicle for William Byron at COTA, Kyle Larson at Sonoma, Alex Bowman at Watkins Glen, and Larson at Darlington in September. Former Cup crew chiefs Greg Ives and Kevin Meendering will lead the endeavor. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us in the comments what you think about the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more of our videos on NASCAR updates. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.